Firstly, tell us about the new antiviral treatments the TGA has recently approved.
There's two drugs. They're oral drugs called Paxlovid and Molnupiravir. Paxlovid is two drugs in one. One's an anti-HIV drug, which is there as a helper, if you like, to the other drug, which is the anti-coronavirus drug. It boosts its levels and effectiveness. The other drug, called Molnupiravir, works by creating mutations in the virus and stopping it replicating. So they say that they're 90% effective at reducing hospitalization. There are some. It's not entirely straightforward. First of all, it's not yet approved for pharmaceutical benefit, for the pharmaceutical benefits scheme. So your GP can't write out a script for it and you go to the pharmacy and get it. They'll come off the medical stockpile. And how that's going to be distributed in each state is not entirely clear. It may be that in each suburb there's a pharmacy that holds the stock. Your GP is probably going to have to fill out a fair number of forms. And then how you're going to be tested and be sure you've got it, because you've got to have it in the first 5 days after symptoms for it to be effective. Paxlovid has interactions with other drugs, so GPs are going to be careful who they prescribe it for. Both drugs are not recommended in pregnancy. It's not been proven to be safe in pregnancy, and the recent guidelines suggest that Paxlovid is the war horse here, with Molnupiravir backing it up. So how they're going to be distributed is still to be confirmed.
Norman, can I ask you, we were talking to Michael Rennie before in Queensland. They're getting rid of the QR codes in some situations. I know Canberra is doing that, or the ACT is doing that from Friday. Tasmania is looking at it as well. What do these easing of restrictions say about the next steps for us all?
Well, we're coming off the peak. The main purpose in the QR codes was really to assist contact tracing. And as we know, that's been overwhelmed, particularly with Omicron, but it was overwhelmed in New South Wales and Victoria pre-Omicron with Delta. And I think that really the main purpose has been to provide a signal to people that we're still in the middle of a pandemic and you've got to be careful. We should be prepared to bring them back if we get another surge, and bring them back early. But it is just part of that transition back, because as we said last week on the show, there's going to be a lull for a while until the next variant appears. So we're going to go through a quiet period. It may come back in winter. We don't give up these QR codes completely.
Hey, Norman, let's turn away from COVID briefly now. You've got a story for us this morning about insomnia treatment and depression.
Yeah, insomnia is related to depression. It used to be thought that depression causes insomnia, and there's truth to that, but insomnia also causes depression when you're not sleeping. And there's a myth about insomnia. The myth is that it's all about sleep duration. We've got obsessed with this. We've got to get 7 or 8 hours a night. If we're not going to get 7 or 8 hours a night, we're going to get depressed, or we're going to get dementia and that sort of thing. Recent research has shown that insomnia is much more about broken sleep. And if you get effective insomnia treatment, you don't increase the duration of sleep. You simply you consolidate sleep and get a better night's sleep for the time you're in bed. And this is what this therapy aimed to do, particularly through what's called sleep restriction. And sleep restriction is you keep your wake-up time at the same time. Sorry for you two, which is 3 a.m. And you fix and then you go later and later to bed until you get a good night's sleep. And you consolidate it that way, amongst other things as well. And what this study showed, and it was in the health report last night, was that if you actually do that and do it well, your track to depression is reduced by up to 80%. So really getting a good night's sleep does make a difference, but you shouldn't be obsessed about how long you sleep.
I get very nervous when we start talking about sleep, Norman.
I know.
Hey, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
See ya.